Hold on to your hats, folks, because at the start of this flick, the brilliant Professor Dr. Mulano Abdullah drops some serious knowledge bombs. He's basically saying, some folks think believing in spooky stuff is just plain old fear showing its ugly face. And get this, the belief in ghosts and goblins? It's practically woven into the fabric of our culture, especially out in the sticks. In fact, things get really interesting when we find out a film crew tackled this very topic 2 years prior. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we are diving headfirst into the wonderfully weird world of the supernatural. Dr. Abdullah's dropping some serious truth bombs. Just because we can only see ourselves, doesn't mean otherworldly beings aren't hanging around. He's basically saying, absence of proof isn't proof of absence. Mic drop. Then, bam, we meet Reza Saraswati, Indonesia's own ghost whisperer extraordinaire. This woman's got a resume longer than my arm: writer, musician, content creator, and government employee. Oh, and she sees ghosts. Apparently, after a few initial eek moments, she started chatting with these spectral pals, writing their life stories. People call her crazy. She's like, their names and stories are real to me. These ghosts aren't begging for belief, just a listening ear. But get this, even she, this seasoned ghost hunter, stumbled upon one entity that sent chills down her spine. I accidentally, and the suspense is killing me. So, on the Journal Reza YouTube podcast, bam, the interviewer asks about it. Reza's response: don't ever say its name. It gets furious. Just forget it ever existed. Apparently, her family's got a serious ghost whisperer gene pool, hence, Journal Reza. Cut to Reza and her amazing team, Dasta, Nico, Indike Kang, Riri, and Fee, arriving at a seriously spooky location for a ghost hunt. They're heading outside, somewhere near Sabang Jaya, exact location, top secret, and Reza's got Angar and Jeffrey, the ghost-busting masters, on hand for some serious spiritual cleansing. Oh, and let's not forget our brave test subjects, Teresa, RYFY, and Prinza, not Pieza, Jeffrey. Prinza, get ready for chills. The scene shifts. We're backstage, folks, at the Journal R interviews, and the bravery of these test subjects is just amazing. RY, a huge Reza fanboy, free, dying to meet some supernatural beings. Then, the interviewer, bless his heart, messes up Prinza's name again. It's Prinza, she sighs. People remember Reza's ghost buddies, even the unmentionable one, better than they remember me. Maybe this will make me more famous than the ghosts. Suddenly, a mouse. Chaos ensues. Anga swoops in, rain starting, people. Let's relocate, it's 9 p.m. Reza, ever the leader, declares, showtime. We are splitting into teams, Fal, Jeffrey, Riri, and Artie, you are team 1. Team 2. Get ready for some goosebump-inducing action. Team 3, Reza, Nick, Prinza, and Damasta, are diving headfirst into a supernatural showdown. They split up, each brave soul venturing solo to see what spooky surprises await. Nico and Damasta pull a sneaky, hilarious, courage test on Free and Prinza, leaving them alone with cameras above and below, one for every scream. Artie's in on the action too, armed with instructions: see, hear, or feel anything weird? Just clap, and the cavalry arrives. So, our fearless trio explores, phones recording, trying to chat with the other side. Suddenly, bam, an entity pops up behind Free, and Prinza's taking matters into her own hands, shouting out names. What happens next? Hold on to your hats, folks, because this is wild. Reza's ghost hunting trip took a serious detour. She's bravely, maybe too bravely, trying to provoke some spectral shenanigans, but crickets. Then, in a moment of sheer, reckless bravery, or stupidity, she whispers the name that shall not be spoken. The monitors freak. Glitching madness ensues. She tries again, muttering, maybe faster? And bam! A shadowy something lurks behind her. Unseen by Reza, of course. Then Princess, she's suddenly feeling a bit possessed. A ghostly hand grabs her, she screams, drops her phone, and goes full-on exorcism movie. The team's scrambling, Damasta and Anga are yelling for divine intervention, and everyone's gathered in a circle of terrified fascination. Even Reza senses something creepy still hanging around. They pack up, shaken but alive. The next day, they review the footage, and the questions begin. Was Samex the thing trending on Twitter? Reza's like, whoa, hold your horses. Don't even say its name. Apparently, Princess deliberately dropped that name bomb. Reza's convinced this thing's a total jinx, it seems to pop up after people mention it. She's all, did it get to Prinza? After poring over the footage, boom. It totally did. Prince's close encounter goes viral on YouTube, instant internet fame. The crew's following Prinza around like paparazzi, documenting her post-Samex life. Cut to Prinza grocery shopping, totally normal, until a fan screams, selfie. Prinza's loving the newfound fame. Meanwhile, Reza's freaking out. Someone from the journal's checking on Prinza. I'm worried something might have attached itself to her. A team member's all, what do you? Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get super spooky. Reza's spilling the tea, or rather, the ghostly ectoplasm, about a distant relative, O.A. Satya, whose spirits decided to crash their family reunion, permanently. Apparently, if they don't exorcise the spectral squatters' rights situation in 5 days, whoever Satya's possessing loses their soul. Yikes. Reza's worried it's you clinging to Prina like a bad case of the clingies. Cut to Prina's place, our vlogging princess is introducing her pals Anga and Indy to her YouTube fam. But wait, cousin Bayu bursts in, all riled up, demanding to know why the journalists are there. Awkward much? Prina's totally dodging questions about weird happenings since that courage test. But Anga and Indy aren't falling for it, they're there for a spiritual cleanse. Princess agrees, until she suddenly, silently, and dramatically ditches the exorcism mid-ritual. Indy's jaw hits the floor. Whoa. She follows the sound, spots Riri, calls out, and bam. A ghostly hand grabs her. Anga's a superhero, yanking her back just as Indy screams, it's Yua. Burn marks? Yikes. Then, Prinza walks in, talk about awkward timing. Indy spills the beans, it was Yuva, the shape-shifting phantom, disguised as Riri. Cut to Prince's place, stakeout time. Cameras are up, crews crashed in the living room. 2:40 a.m. Bulb flickers, a door creaks open, a white-sheeted figure emerges. The crew springs into action, cameras rolling. The figure heads for the window, a spooky pause, arms stretch out, then two people pop out. A brave crew member whips off the sheet, and finds nothing. Then, Prinza materializes. Whoa, Anga's all, what's the deal, Prina? Prina's like, nope, retreats to her room, slam. Next day, podcast invite. Prina's a nervous wreck, but buzzing. She's there, Bayu by her side, ready to rock the podcast. Cut to Anga. Bayu says Prina exploded during the interview. Prina's back, total zombie mode. Anga cautiously suggests, another cleansing ritual? Prina's not having it. I'm still Prina. She cries, then bolts. 2:40 a.m., Prina emerges, eyes fixed on a knife, and bam. Floor's a mess, weird position, morning comes, and poof. Prina's vanished. Total panic. The house is searched, top to bottom, nothing. Then, the cameras. Suddenly, Bayu's phone screams. A Prince photo shoot. Cancel. But wait, something happened. Prina. They race to the studio, and there she is. Behind a couch, stalkers. Indy and Riri throw a blanket on the poor, confused soul. Where am I? What happened? Meanwhile, Reza's watching the security footage, first the studio, then the house, and bam. A question that'll make your jaw drop. Possessed by Grandma Yu Satya, or just a wild night? Reza dives for a drawer. Whoa, this photo, she says it's Yu Satya, a super distant relative, practically a grandma's best friend from another planet. Apparently, this Yu Satya was a religious rebel, rejected a prayer outfit. Seriously? Then, boom, ghost story alert. Yu Satya's spirit, post-death, decided the family was her new playground. Dad and Grandpa tried an exorcism, village style, and out popped Sex Reza. Okay, I think someone mistranslated there. Cut to, Reza spots her son swinging, play safe, honey. Then, double take. Husband descends with the same son. Reza's mind, meltdown. Nothing. Don't talk about it. She frantically whispers. Later, hubby's filming a confession, documentary crew made me do it. And Reza spills the beans, scratching her hand like a fiend. Then, gasp, Where's their son? The monitor reveals a sleeping cherub. Phew, close call, folks. A ghost, sitting on the bedside furniture. Poof, gone. But the real scare? Their son's got a raging fever. Hospital dash. Crisis averted, kids okay. Phew, but wait, Reza's a wreck. Tears. We need to talk to dad, she cries to Anga. Anga's all, chill, I'll handle it. Focus on the little dude. Oops, they accidentally mentioned you's name to dad. Boom, exploding volcano of dad rage. Careless whispers, remember the cleansing ritual on Prina? It's all on tape. We see Prina, utterly drained, day 3, folks. Exhaustion oozes from the screen. Then, Indy walks in. Prina, desperate, whispers, aren't you scared? Hold on to your hats. Oh honey, this is a roller coaster. Trying to comfort her, they assure her they're safe, but then... Bam! Indy's got her brother Nico, and a whole team of pals from the journal. Sweet. But Prina, ouch. A heartbreaking story of loss, leaving you with a lump in your throat. Then, suddenly, Princess goes full-on villain. Maniacal laughter? Check. Creepy stalk towards Indy? Double check. And that chilling question, why, auntie, not, same ex? The lights go out? Indy's terrified sobs and frantic flashlight search? This is seriously intense. Whoa, Princess Prina vanishes, poof. Then Prinza appears, all strangling intent. Indy fights back, desperately tries to escape, but the door's locked. She whips around, gasp, Prinza's climbing the walls. Then, bam, she's on the bed, gone in a flash. Indy's frantically searching, and Prinza pounces. But just as things get really hairy, the team bursts in. Indy, still shaking, cries, it's Yua. She's here. They find Prina, chillingly calm, counting corpses. 100 bodies, 200 bodies, 300 bodies. They tackle her, but Yua's hold is tight. This is getting seriously scary, folks. Reese is involved now. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get seriously spooky. Dad bursts into Prince's place, holy water blazing, ready to exorcise whatever demonic entity's taken up residence. Anga and Bayu wrestle a possessed Prina from her room. She's not exactly thrilled. Dad confronts the spirit, demanding, "Why are you tormenting my daughter?" The spirit snarls back, "She called me." A showdown of epic proportions ensues. Dad's prayers and holy water are met with Prina's furious defiance. She's a whirlwind of rage, flinging Anga and Bayu aside like ragdolls. Then, bam, a knife appears, and Prina's perched on the table, a wild-eyed menace. Dad advances, but she leaps, aiming for his throat. Anga and Kakam pull her back, just in the nick of time, as others scramble to help. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, a ghostly reflection stares back from the window. Whoa, this girl, Prina, is tearing the place apart. Anga and Kong are wrestling a demonic octopus, basically, trying to hold her back. Then, Dad, brilliant move, slings holy water like a pro wrestler, right in the possessed face. Her screams, ear-splitting. The spirit's grip loosens. Phew. Crisis averted, or is it? Dad's like, nope, not just a bad day, it's a supernatural bad day, folks. OA-shaped, but not OA. Time travel back to the village, where they apparently borrowed the spirit. And they gave her the name. Prina? Seriously? Anga's off to the village, with Prina and Beau in tow. Road trip. But wait, Prina's staring out the window, all serene, then bam. Possessed again. She stares at Anga, creepy smile and all, whispers, "Think sending me home will scare me?" Yeah. And as they near the village, a rickety old bridge. Then, bam, a funeral procession, villagers lugging a coffin. But wait, Khan's eagle eyes spot something fishy. It's empty. They press on, oblivious, into a village shrouded in ominous vibes. Suddenly, whoosh, stones are flying. Angry villagers are yelling. Chaos. Anga, ever the smooth talker, steps up. "We're here to see the village head." Silence. Then, an old woman emerges, suspicious as heck, heads guests. Anga nods. She grunts, "Follow," and leads them deeper into this creepy town. Then, gasp, villagers are smearing blood on mats. Anga can't contain himself. "What's with the bloody mats?" The woman's chilling reply, "These are..." Whoa, a ritual to stop more deaths? Indy's eyes widen. People are dying here? The woman nods grimly, something wicked this way comes, fast. Anga's all, village head, now. They're practically sprinting. The headman shows up, eyes prin like a hawk, fifth night? He makes Prin sit, then starts this creepy chant, 100 bodies. 200 bodies. 300 bodies. Silence. He repeats it, slower, more menacing. Then bam, Princess cuts him off, 300 bodies. The headman's laughter chills you to the bone. So you've revealed yourself, Satya. Anga's jaw drops, but hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get seriously spooky. Dad's alibi's shot to pieces, the village head spills the beans. It ain't just Satya they call, some ex. Then, bam, Ito's summoned. She's escorting Prinza inside for an extreme makeover, a purification ritual, no less. But oh, the headman drops a major truth bomb. Not everyone's invited to this party. Anga's keeping his crew outside while he and Sao brave the darkness. Inside, the air crackles. Princess possessed, a total 180. Scared? Me? In my village? She cackles, chucking pottery like a pro before launching into full-on maniacal laughter. Turns out, this village is under a 4-year curse. Unnatural deaths galore, haunted by these Samek spirits. And 2 of our crew are already looking a little pale. Hold on to your hats, folks. Bayu and Rick, camera guy, you're on location duty. They're sneaking outside for a quick peek at the ceremony's progress. Bayu's sticking close to Prina, she's a poor thing. He's trying to comfort her, desperately commanding whatever entity is messing with her to cut it out. Then, Prina's face changes. It's like a switch flipped. It's me, Prina, she sobs. I wanna go home. Bayu, bless his heart, scoops her up in a hug. After you're better, I'll take you home, I promise. Anything else? But as he holds her, her voice deepens. I want to taste the placenta of a newborn baby. And bam, it's not Prina anymore. It's a ghost. A ghost hugging Bayu. This thing promises to slowly, savagely, tear a baby apart and eat its organs. Then, kaboom, the lights go out. Total darkness. Rick frantically switches on his camera light, and Prina's vanished. Poof. Gone. Bayu's yelling, frantic. She's vanished. Rick's searching, eyes darting, a desperate whirlwind of panicked glances. Then, bam, ghosts. A creepy, dimly lit space, the air thick with mystery, they're hunting for Prinza. Suddenly, whoa, they're trapped. A locked door. Bayu's spooked, wants out, but hears Prinza, a whisper from beyond. She investigates, but nothing. Then, Bayu's gone, Rick's freaking out. Weird stuff's happening, his heart's pounding, and then, a ghostly dame. She pops up, he spins, runs, but dead end. The ghost's back, he's trapped, terrified, running in circles. Blindly stumbling through that crazy house, what a mess. Until, miraculously, they find Bayu. Rick tells him, get out of there, now. Just as Bayu makes a run for the door. Bam! It slams shut. His fingers are trapped. A scream rips through the air. Ouch. Poor guy's fingers are shredded. Meanwhile, chaos outside. A woman's running wild, yelling about Prina kidnapping her kid. And then, crash. Bayu and Rick burst onto the scene, Prina vanished. Bayu's beside himself, muttering about the same ex-Etu. Whatever that means. Etu's on the case, snapping orders at Anga and Nico, find Prina, now. Before she reaches the rice paddies. A frantic chase ensues, villagers swarming after her. Then, Nico hears it, a tiny, faint cry. A baby points into the distance. Everyone's scrambling, a frantic dash in the gloom. Indy, like a superhero, sprints ahead, snatching the baby from the clutches of the ferocious princess. But she's not done. Princess lunges, a snarling, baby-biting menace. Bayu and the villagers, what a team. Leap into action, subduing the beast. Ito, ever the cool head, barks orders, tie her up. Blindfold her. It's a whirlwind of frantic activity. Then, bam, scene cut. Next thing you know, it's ritual time. Ido, with a ceremonial jug of something hopefully cleansing, approaches Prina. Poor Indy's assisting, probably wishing she'd stayed home with a good book. Princess is a quivering mess as the water pours, until wham. She's head banging like a possessed woodpecker against the nearest wood. Indy's like, whoa, hold your horses, lady. But Ito's already barking orders to Burrito Princess in a giant mat. They're tying her up tighter than a drum. And just then, a villager turns to the camera crew, eyes wide, stay inside, no matter what. Eek. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get wild. The ritual starts, and the village's already tense atmosphere thickens like a witch's brew. Villagers are scrambling into their homes, while poor Prina, tied up like a birthday present, is dragged to the spooky ceremony. The village head, in a voice like crackling thunder, explains, this isn't some tea party, they're trying to shoo a supernatural entity out of Prina. They're planning to transfer it into an animal, but the entity gets the final say, human or animal, it's their choice. Then, bam, a woman steps forward, whacking Prina with a broom like she's playing a bizarre game of whack-a-mole. Prayers are chanted, commands are yelled, but the entity, speaking through Prina, is having none of it. Buzz off. It snarls, with some seriously creepy laughter. But wait, just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, a guy steps up and snips off a piece of Prina's something. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get wild. The village chief's demanding the spirit leave, but Princess's body? It's seizing, screaming, and the villagers? They're puking their guts out. This dark energy is spreading like wildfire. A brave soul tries to help, but the princess grabs him, in a place you definitely don't want grabbed. The chief orders a rescue mission, get her up, people. Then, an old geezer shows up with a goat, This shaman type whispers, you were born here, but you're outer here, boo. Then, bam, goat slaughter, blood everywhere. The princess is forced to drink the gory stuff straight from the decapitated head. Bayu's horrified, this is wrong. And then, poof. Princess snaps back to normal, utterly bewildered. What a day. Where am I? Bayu, she cries, desperate to escape. But Prince possessed again. Ever the hero, douses Prin with goat's blood, talk about a bad hair day. Angla, Indy, Nico, and Bayu, they're not standing idly by. Cage escape attempt, imminent. But wait, a mysterious man steps in, plot twist. Meanwhile, maniac laughter erupts as a possessed woman bursts from a house, another woman tries to restrain her but the village head's like, nope, go back inside. I'm hungry, newborn anyone? She shrieks. Before anyone can answer, bam. She's a human projectile, scaling a house, then, leap of faith. Villagers scream. A dramatic rescue attempt ensues. The village head bellows, the elders of the universe have spoken. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get wild. The villagers, in a flurry of activity, whisk Nettie away, stretcher duty, anyone? And plonk her beside Prina. The village head, a total boss, tells the thing. This ain't your girl, buddy. Back to the grave with you. Suddenly, poof, everything changes. Dan's freaking out, where'd everyone go? Yelling at his cameraman to film this crazy disappearing act. Terror descends as they realize they're utterly alone. Dan looks at Anga like, explain this. Anga, keeping his cool, mostly, remembers the village head's ominous warning about a gate opening during the ritual. Then, bam, Prina's vanished. Bayu's panicking, don't leave her alone. We gotta find her. Anga, ever the hero, organizes a search party. And guess what? They find Prina, in the jungle. Hold on to your hats, folks. Indy spots her, poof. Gone. Anga yanks Indy back, whispering, whoa, Nelly, as the princess gives them a seriously creepy smile before disappearing deeper into the jungle. They're hot on her heels. A clearing. Anga hushes them, the prison's here. He hisses, saving Prince time. Fear and fury propel Bayu and Indy forward into an atmosphere thick with spookiness. Ghostly villagers chanting gibberish until they spot us. Suddenly, these spectral weirdos are charging. They're running, folks, a full-on ghostly chase. Anya glances back, gulp. Whoa, they shake off those pesky spirits, only to find Prina knocked out cold but miraculously okay. A quick lift and carry back to the ritual, and bam. Everyone's frozen like a cheesy museum exhibit. Anga's quick thinking gets Prina back in the coffin, and poof. Everything's moving again. The headman then bellows, SAMX is out. And yanks something seriously creepy from Prina's mouth. A masterful transfer into N, and just like that, the curse is lifted. The villagers are healing, and Ito's stepping forward. The tension, through the roof. Whoa, Prince is free. After a nail-biting escape, Anga still practically vibrating with nervous energy, they finally get her back. Phew, a shaky yes seals the deal, and our heroes carefully help her up. Poor Prinza, weak as a kitten, but finally free from that thing. They whisk her away, leaving the village behind, and a seriously creepy ritual still going on. Riza's voiceover is all low and serious now, they couldn't film anymore, the villagers wouldn't let them. This was the scariest, saddest thing they ever encountered. So impactful, in fact, Riza's taking a break. A few weeks. She needs a long, hot bath and maybe a therapist. Listen up, folks. A final warning. Don't go shouting out those names from the movie. Seriously, they have power. Don't tempt fate.